Okay, so for your Tempest Hag-Seed essay, there's two key ideas I'm going to focus on. I've got longer videos about this if you want to go have a look at them, and I'm going to do a really quick rundown of what I think are the best ideas to talk about for your comparative study, Tempest and Hag-Seed. So the first one is looking at the transformation of the key characters. So you've got Prospero and you've got Felix, and you've got the fact that they evolve as characters within their particular contexts and within their particular sort of contextual paradigm. So when you look at Prospero, he's in, quite a religious context, and he, wasn't responsible as a leader. And for that reason, he was banished, but he's really angry. He's really resentful, and he uses magic or that dark arts to, get his vengeance, right? And you see him at the beginning as just being this really like angry, vengeful person. And he just wants to get back at, everybody who's, banished him without taking any real responsibility for, his part in the banishment. And it really causes people he loves, such as his own daughter, Miranda, to suffer. So as we see the play progress, he does change. And we see at the end that he comes to this point of, wanting forgiveness and forgiving those people who, banished him, and also realizing, I suppose taking responsibility for his own actions, right? So he realizes that the rarer, was it? It was in virtue than in vengeance. The rarest something is in virtue than in vengeance. So go look for that quote. But you can see how he progresses over the course of the play. And then you've got Hag-Seed, where there are different concerns. So obviously Felix has, lost his daughter, and he feels really guilty about that. And it really leads to sort of a lot of mental illness for him, and he's just absolutely grief-stricken. And as the text progresses, he's able to overcome that. Now, there's obviously a lot of stuff that goes into sort of showing how these are demonstrated through the particular text, but that is a really good core idea that connects those texts really well. There are those similarities, but then there's also the contextual differences, the difference between the religious, for example, paradigms that return back to forgiveness in Tempest, whereas in Hag-Seed, raising issues that are much more modern, such as grief and mental illness, and being able to overcome that, and then and it sort of shows it quite a different paradigm. So that's a really good idea to start with. I really like the idea of being able to talk about the transformative nature of art. So Prospero's art is his magic. Obviously, you've also got the play, from a meta theatrical standpoint, and then you've got Hag-Seed, and the fact that obviously Felix's experience through plays and through getting that play performed in the prison on the Tempest sort of helps him overcome his own grief. So that's a really good idea, the first one. The second one is really looking at that age of discovery versus a post-colonial perspective. So in the age of discovery, there was this notion that, in like the British were the, superior race, and they were going and colonizing certain places, and that led to a lot of oppression, such as people like Caliban and his mother and Sycorax, etc. And then in looking at the more modern context, that's been sort of transposed into a prison system, where Atwood sort of looks at the fact that we really don't treat prisoners well, and don't give them the opportunity to be able to rehabilitate themselves, but they do have that capacity. So it's almost kind of going back into that idea of transformation again. But and there is obviously, like, there are those transformed characters that do that critique on the colonialism that happened in the earlier text. So that's sort of like very, very quick rundown. But I think those two are really strong. There are some other good ones, obviously looking at the role of gender and how that's changed is can be a good one as well. But yeah, if you need something really quick and sort of can be adapted, then the first two are really good. And if you want a bit more information on how you can delve into these different ideas, then have a look on our channel, because we've got those in a bit more detail as well.